Ho-ro, the rattling bog down in the valley, oh. Ho-ro, the rattling bog down in the valley, oh. Real bog, the rattling bog down in the valley, oh. Well, in that hole there was a tree, a rare tree, a rattling tree, and the tree in a hole, and the hole in the bog down in the valley, oh. Hi, I'm Danny Quinn, and welcome to another episode of First Impressions. On today's episode, I take a look at the hole in the ground to see if the latest horror from Ireland is worth the discovery. The movie revolves around a young woman, Sarah, played by Shanna Kerslacki, and her son, Chris, played by James Quinn Markey, who have moved to the Irish countryside. The two live in a house that's beside a dark and ominous forest that leads to a mysterious sinkhole, and after Chris comes across the sinkhole, he begins exhibiting unusual behaviour, and Sarah is forced to confront the possibility that her son may not be whom he appears to be. The Hole in the Ground arrived in cinemas following its premiere at Sundance in January, and it marks the debut of Irish writer-director Lee Cronin. And as far as directorial debuts go, it's one that definitely shows a lot of promise. Cronin really demonstrates a lot of skill in building up tension and atmosphere, and he makes very good use of the Irish landscape to create an unsettling and foreboding tone that's tinged with gothic menace. Like a lot of A24 released horror films, The Hole in the Ground is slow to burn, but Cronin manages to keep you invested and engaged as the film slowly builds to its climax. He also does a great job of playing around with your head and your expectations, as well as freaking you the fuck out on several occasions. Another big asset that this movie has going for it is Shanna Kerslacki as the main character, Sarah. Her performance is absolutely outstanding, and I do hope she goes on to bigger things after this, because she's definitely one to watch. And her relationship with her son Chris is easily the main crux of the film. It does give you some investment as she attempts to unravel the truth behind what happened to her son, and the relationship between the two is very touching but also tinged with sadness. And James Quinn Markey is also really damn good in the role of Chris. I do feel like child performances can kind of get a bit of a bad rap sometimes, because I feel like they can be really good, especially when it comes to horror movies, and this movie is no exception. But while the directing and acting is quite solid, the script isn't quite as strong. We never really learn much about the two leads. It's hinted at very early on, as well as throughout the film, that Sarah and Chris are escaping from an abusive father, and you kind of think this is going to be a major part of their characters, but it never really factors into the story, and it's just largely glossed over. I guess it's meant to add ambiguity to the story and play around with your head a wee bit, but the film doesn't really have much of a satisfying payoff for that. Instead of being genuinely mysterious and fascinating, it just kind of ends up being vague for the sake of it. And the character of Sarah, while likeable, is rather one-dimensional, and the film does kind of squander some potentially poignant and interesting ideas about how parents and children interact with each other in the process. And I think that's something that could have been really scary and unsettling. I think that's something that really could have been tapped into, but as such, it's just kind of there. It doesn't really live up to its fullest potential, but what's there is still pretty unsettling, all things considered. In the end, I think The Hole in the Ground is a good film, not a great one. And with the likes of Pet Sematary, Us, Midsommar, It Chapter 2, Brightburn, and Doctor Sleep on the horizon, and which all look really promising, I just don't think it really stands out when compared to the competition. Nevertheless, it's a very promising debut for Cronin as a director, and it's a very promising showcase for Kerslacki as an actress. And I do hope that both of them go on to bigger and better things after this. So with that being said, I'm going to give The Hole in the Ground a light 7 out of 10. I do recommend this film, even if I wouldn't go out of my way to say it's an outright classic. It's just a little flawed and unpolished for me to call it great. Usually I can still really enjoy a movie and say I really loved it despite that, but in this case, it did kind of detract from the experience for me personally. But it is overall pretty solid. And I definitely recommend it if you're looking for a good example of Irish genre cinema. It's worth checking out. So The Hole in the Ground, have you seen it yet? If so, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, maybe even subscribe to my channel. If there's anything I can do to improve my presentation, do let me know. I'm always happy to hear feedback as long as it's somewhat constructive. If you want to follow me on social media or support me on Patreon or check out my website, links are below down in the description. And until next time, I'm Danny Quinn, and I hope you have a pleasant evening.